Press that button now, and we're on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're back. It's another episode of the Manhood podcast. We're on the big screen.
We're right there first to start off.
I wanted you to go with a close up of my shape up.
Here we go. We'll get you the close up.
Shout out to Jaws Barbershop for just making me look crispy.
There he is.
Per usual. If you would like to get a beard like mine, go to Jaws Barbershop. Go see my main man Anthony, and he'll hook you up. But by the way, just in case you guys don't know who I am, this is Abdul-Rahmaan I, and I'm gonna pass it over to my main man right across from me.
Any video.
Zoe's
in the building. I'm in the building.
All right, we have some great guests today.
We do.
I would like to introduce over to my right. Yes, young man, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Matthew Riviera. I also go by Met with the Dream, and it is such a privilege and honor to be here on the Manhood podcast tonight.
Hey, happy to have you today. Oh, you turned me up even better.
Yes.
All right. Yes, and over to my left, I have my man. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Word, what's going on, everybody? This is Sagacity Walker. You know what I'm saying? Out here from Hartford, chilling. I'm really happy to be here.
Chilling like a villain. Hey, so tonight, I feel like we're going to have a really good conversation, a really good discussion. And I'm going to kick it off. I'm going straight to our first topic. Does anybody here meditate?
Meditate.
Do you meditate? Anybody want to take that?
Meditate. We did talk about meditating.
What about it?
We're trying to find out how to meditate because we used to talk about how my mind wanders when I try to meditate.
We've talked about meditation.
So I had found something to help me meditate.
What was that?
Counting.
Okay.
Like counting, like 1, 2. If you you do intently counting.
Right.
If you do it through the whole, like say 30. But
what number do you get to?
I'll be up to 120, 130.
Before your mind goes off to something else?
I'm just thinking about counting.
Okay.
And then you realize that, I'm really not thinking about anything.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you just if I just stand in one place or I sit, my mind wanders about what I could be doing.
Right.
When I'm counting, it seems like it just slows down, and I'm able just to concentrate on just counting. It seems weird, but I read it somewhere and I tried it, and it worked for me.
Sagacity, what about you? Any meditation?
Yeah, every now and again. I do not meditate at all the way I should. But back in the day, I used to meditate real heavy. My father was really into meditating when we was younger and doing all martial arts and stuff. So that's how I was raised. Yeah. The older I got and the more busy I became, the less and less I do it, even though, I know you're supposed to meditate more the more busy you get.
Right.
But yeah, so I'll do it maybe now once or twice a week intentionally.
That's still a lot more than me. I put it as a topic to talk about, but I don't meditate at all. Yeah. What about you, Matt? You look like you meditate.
Yeah, I meditate. It's definitely changed in this past season.
Yeah.
I focus more on just my breath and breathing. So a lot of people tell me like, why are you breathing so hard? But I just find that whenever I can deeply connect to my breath, it helps me to calm everything down. And then, of course, just prayer as a form of meditation. I definitely pray a lot. And in addition to that, like whenever I'm at the gym, for example, today, like sometimes I'll just go commando and go with no headphones.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no.
And
you can't do that. How do you do that?
And today was just one of those days. And in order for you to get an effective workout and you don't have headphones, like you got to lock in and have those moments of meditation.
And breathing in. So you're meditating with other people around.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Typically, when I think of a meditation, it's something that you're doing kind of like by yourself in a dark room. But you're meditating in the gym. It sounds like you were meditating with friends one day. Like, what do you mean? Like, tell me how this is going. Give us an example of this.
I think that's just the way that I stay sane, honestly.
How do you block out all the noise?
Like last week, I was at an event. Yeah. And there was hundreds of people there, but there was no one sitting next to me that I knew. Yeah. And I recognized, like, I'm alone. Like, I'm in a room full of people, but I'm alone.
And you started meditating?
And I just started tapping into myself.
Matt is from the Bronx. Matt is from the Bronx. And this is some next level stuff I'm hearing right now.
I'm telling you.
So when you get in a room and you get a little nervous instead of you kind of like posting up, you start breathing.
Yeah, I breathe. I just try to calm everything around me, and I'm just in my space.
Now I'm making a joke about it, but that's deep. That's that. So you try to center yourself as opposed to like be fearful or whatever else is going on with your emotions at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason why I think that's important is because it is so easy for you to take on the energy that is around you, and the way that you anchor yourself is by centering yourself within yourself.
Right.
Not allowing the energy around you to dictate how you move, but allowing the energy that you have within to determine how you then present yourself and how everything moves around you.
I like it. So this is making me think like meditation could be like a skill for some of our other young men, our young adults out there that are like dealing with the world out there right now.
Definitely.
Yeah, talk a little about it. You said you grew up with this kind of as a part of your life. Talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, what Matt's talking about is exactly one of the reasons why I appreciate meditation, right? Because when I'm in certain spaces, and what Matt was talking about, I'm able to do that for myself to keep myself grounded. Because like some folks who know me from being out in the public and whatnot, but like definitely in real life, I'm like much more of an introvert. So put me in a crowded space, in a room with people, and all my nerves start going, and I feel like sort of like wanting to detach from it.
Right.
So I do that same thing. Is like keep myself aware of, all right, this is what you're here for, this is what you have to do, and keep myself focused on what I want to, like grounded in myself.
Yeah.
So in that way, when it's ready to turn on, I'm like, okay, cool. That's what we're here for. Let's handle beyond.
Okay, Matt, why don't you lead us into meditation real quick? I
and I'll make a lot of noise over here. Let's try
I just feel like I'm missing out on something right now. And
I think you know what it is?
What?
It's a skill.
It is a skill.
Right. So it's like people, I meditate. It's hard. So if you're not, so it's like, again, it's a skill. So a skill is something you have to practice and get good at. So dribbling, I want to dribble.
Yeah.
If you don't practice, you won't be good. So if you want to meditate, if you don't practice.
Well, give me a little taste. Walk us through a little bit of something, just so we can see what it's like. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this is probably one of the first times in history that we're about to meditate live on the podcast. People are real life about to watch us breathe.
Hey, the people. But you know what? My thing is this. The great thing about a podcast is that somebody might come across this a year from now, and they might be going through some stuff. They might be the person that has been going into rooms where there's 100 people and they feel uncomfortable and they're reactive instead of trying to figure out how to get connected with themselves. And so I feel like one of the things about our podcast is that we want to be able to be a tool for people to learn something. So like I said, I do things in jest at times, but I think it's a good opportunity for somebody that's doing it all the time. So, and I'm an eager learner.
Yeah,
I'm open for learning.
Yeah.
So teach me, brother. So give me some meditation skills.
So we're gonna do a dream chaser themed meditation.
Oh, look at that.
Just for you. So this one was taught to me by my guy Arsenio Vasquez. Shout out to you, my brother, when you see this. But just close your eyes with me, please. And as you close your eyes, just focus in on your breathing. Before we do anything crazy, just connect with your breath. Are you breathing more quickly than you normally do? Are you breathing a bit more slowly? Just breathe. Breathe in positivity. Breathe out anxiety. Breathe in success. Breathe out failure. Just focus in on your breathing. Now, as we are breathing, I want you to journey with me a bit. I want you to envision you in 2024. I want you to envision all the wonderful things that you will do. I want you to envision you achieving your greatest dreams in 2024. Still focusing on your breathing. What does that look like? Now I want you to breathe how that person will breathe. What does that dream chaser look like and breathe like? Now join me back into the room slowly, and as you feel ready, open your eyes.
Yo, that was good.
That's what's up.
So,
Good stuff.
so my question is, did your breath change
Yes.
when you envisioned your 2024 version?
Yes.
Yes.
I breathe deeper.
Yeah.
More like cleaner. I get like like full breaths.
Yeah, mine's
No
was much
mucus
more
in the
full.
nose.
Much more full.
So the beautiful thing is, if we can start becoming who we want to be by controlling our breath, why don't we do it? If a different version of ourselves starts with a different breath, if we were mindful enough to think of a different breath when thinking of a future version of ourselves, we can start living into that simply by breathing the way that we want our future selves to breathe.
I like it.
Shout out, Matt. Oh,
Yo, we just made history.
Yo, Dave chimed in said, he said Matt always on the Wu-Tang 30.
Yo, that's a great point. I think that, when's the last time you had 4 black men meditating live online?
It's crazy.
I mean, Matt's Puerto Rican, but people of color. When's the last time, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that one of the things that we want to be able to do, though, we need to create spaces like this where we could try something out. I'll be honest with you, it didn't feel all the way comfortable for me.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was a little weird, yeah. I mean, as a part of the Manhood Tree groups, and you guys have been through the groups, at the end of the group, we always end with a meditation. And to be honest with you, even though I wrote the meditation and I think the meditation is important, I always feel uncomfortable when I'm doing the meditation. And so I appreciate, I feel like sometimes as men, we have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable because it's going to do something to be able to help us out. And so I appreciate you taking us through that exercise. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah. All right, so we got next.
Well, since we're talking to Matt, let's keep it going, Matt. So Matt, everybody knows that Matt's an up and coming young brother in the community, right? And so, Matt, tell us a little bit about what's been going on. I know you're in college. You're going to Yale right now. Doing big things over at Yale. So tell us a little bit about how that process has been for you, and also do a little connection for me. Like I said before, you're from the Bronx, and so you're from the Bronx. You came to Connecticut, go to Trinity College. Now you go to Yale. Talk about the juxtaposition. I'm just throwing words out for you right now. Talk about the juxtaposition from being from the Bronx and then going into these areas of the world that are very different from where you're from.
Wow. So that's a lot. That's
hey, you said throw something. You want me to throw something to you? I'll throw something to you.
I'll keep it quick and brief. So as you mentioned, I'm originally from the Bronx, New York. I am the oldest of 6. I went to NYC Lab School for Collaborative Studies in Chelsea, New York, downtown New York, for high school. And one day while I was on my way to class, at this time I was working and going to school full time, one of my guidance counselors came up to me and said, "Hey, there's someone here from Trinity College, and I really think you should meet them." And I said, "What? An opportunity to not be in class?" I said, "Bet, let's go." So I went, and for some reason, the guy, the admissions counselor, his name is Eduardo Montenegro. He was really into me. I could tell he actually wants to meet me.
Right.
So, he's pitching Trinity and whatnot. And at the time, I wasn't even really thinking about college. Like, I always knew I was going to go to college, but I didn't really care where.
Right.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to put him to the test. Let's see if he really cares. I'm going to bomb this essay for an overnight trip that he wants me to apply to. And if he really likes me, like, they still going to make sure I get in regardless. And I did. So I went to the overnight. It was the only college I visited because my family couldn't afford to visit colleges.
Right.
And after that, I ended up applying. I got in. I got a great financial aid package. I went to Trinity College. I started off at Trinity. I took on the mindset that I was just going there for a 4-year business trip. I was going to get in and get out. My sophomore year, I became president of the Men of Color Alliance because I contributed one event my freshman year, and they just thought that I would be a good fit. Again, I don't know how or why.
Right.
And it was through the Men of Color Alliance that I was able to meet wonderful men out in the community, such as yourself, such as, you know, the Brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and a lot of other community leaders. And I just started meeting with a bunch of different movers and shakers in the community. And the number one, you know, who gave me a shot was you. And I'll never forget, you know.
This is not an interview about me. Go back.
Yeah, so I will never forget, you know, I met you on the Ice Cream for a Dream truck. I told you I wanted to be involved. After that, you said, okay, email me. I emailed you. We met. The first time we met, you got me a suit because I told you I was trying to go to the 100 Men of Color Black Tie Gala. And fast forward from there, everything was history. You ended up offering me an internship. I started getting deeply involved in the community. At that time, I also started going to Union Baptist Church of Hartford with Reverend Trevor Buford. And, you know, that's when the community and the motivational speaking side started brewing. And then at the same time, you know, the ministry side of me was budding as well. And then during COVID, it was also my senior year, March of 2020. And I, you know, came up to you and said, yo, like, I want to see if I could potentially make the Dream Support Network my full-time job. And I'm not even going to get into the whole story about that because, like, that story in itself is crazy.
When you used to live down the street, then you lived the other place.
When I was bouncing around. I was just hustling.
It's a good story. When you make it all the way, they do the movie.
There we go. So, you know, there was a lot of stuff that happened. You know, Abdul opened many doors to make that happen. And, you know, I started working towards making the Dream Support Network what I did full time. At the same time, I was discerning a call to ministry, but I was scared and I was running. So for a long time, I avoided that as much as possible. And then it was about December 2021 where I felt like I just wasn't having peace in anything that I did. Like, the Dream Support Network was doing well. At that point, I was living fully on my own, but there was still just something that felt empty. That's when I finally leaned into my call to ministry. I preached my initial sermon. I applied to Yale Divinity School because I felt like I was not relinquished from the state of Connecticut. And I got in, and fast forward to now, I'm a second-year Master of Divinity student at Yale. I'm a part of the Andover Newton Seminary at Yale. I'm a part of the Black Church Studies Certificate Program at Yale. I am the Vice President of Yale Black Seminarians, and I'm also seeking ordination in the American Baptist Churches of Connecticut.
I love it. But Matt, you didn't answer my question.
Oh, you told me to tell how I got from where I was.
No, I didn't.
That's not what you said.
No, thanks for the whole story, but the question was the juxtaposition between being from the Bronx and going into these other spaces. Like what have you had to do? I know all the stuff you just told was important, but it's like, what have you done to go from being a kid that was just working a full-time job? Maybe you were going to go to college, but now you went to 2 Ivy League schools. And how do you kind of like put on this mask to be able to operate in these spaces and be successful in those spaces? That's what I really want to get to.
I mean, if you just think back to my story, the way that I got to Trinity, like, it was just by chance. And I think that's the biggest part about, like, what's different between me going from where I was in the Bronx to where I'm at now. Like, it really was an opportunity that was provided to me. And the problem is, there are so many great people in all of our communities, the Bronx, Hartford, right down the street, and people are just not afforded opportunities.
Wow.
For some reason, when I was in middle school, something told me, yo, you can't go to high school in the Bronx because if not, you won't make it. So you gotta go apply to that school all the way downtown in Manhattan.
Right.
Why? Because I didn't have the ability to understand it, but I knew it was because going to a place like that would afford me opportunity. And when I went to high school, what happened? I literally stumbled upon an opportunity. So when I got to Trinity, it wasn't that I was smart, because I kind of struggled my first semester, but because I had the opportunity, I learned what it meant to find the opportunities that I need in order to get to where I wanted to go to. So when I went to Trinity, I did things like go to the writing center. I did things like build relationships. I did things like trying to, build my name on campus to be able to get the things that I know I didn't have.
All right, pause. I see Sagacity shaking his head, so I just wanted to let him jump in on that. So what are you thinking about opportunity?
No, I mean, you really hit me when you were talking about going to a high school away from where you live, right? Because that's the same thing I did. And I remember having that conversation with my father when I was, like 7th, 8th grade or whatever, 8th grade. And I ended up going to, because I grew up in Providence, Rhode Island, right? And I went to high school in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, because if I had went to school in Providence, Rhode Island, I would have ended up hanging out with the people that I grew up with. And we would have ended up doing some knucklehead stuff, and I probably wouldn't be here right now. So that part hit me a lot, like really resonated with me, as well as just people being in certain spaces to get the opportunity, right? And when you're in those spaces to get the opportunity, having to work, right? I think that's a big thing. Is some folks are willing to work, but they just don't get the opportunity. And then some folks get the opportunity, then don't work.
Right.
But when you get the two of them together, and I'm just seeing you right now, even the way you speak, it's like shining. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's part of it too. Is like some people got that it thing.
Did you know Matt before today?
I've not. This is my first time.
Yeah. You'll see him 100 times after this.
Word up.
No, okay, that's good. No, but so it's the same thing. I mean, Zoe talks a lot about his experience going to Farmington schools, right? It's the same thing. It's getting an opportunity to step out of your initial environment. Not to say you can't make it from where you're from, but sometimes you have to go somewhere else to get that opportunity.
I'll even say, for me, I had to do it, right? Okay. Some people can, right? Yeah. I know plenty of people who, from Hartford, who grew up in Hartford public schools and went through that all the way to graduated from Riviera and all that, and still doing well, right? But I know me, if you put me, especially younger version of me, now I'm good. But young version of Sagacity, I don't even know the dumb stuff I would have did.
Right. So okay, so Matt, you're moving on. You're going to Yale. You still got a lot of stuff going on. You want to talk a little bit about the Dream Support Network and your vision for 2024? Where you've been and where you're going?
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a great year. We were able to get 2 pretty significant opportunities to run Dream Chaser Academy. Through one cohort, we were able to take a group of students to Washington, D.C. Another group of students, we were able to have 10, and we were able to literally have a bus to go on excursions to all of the different places and things that we wanted to do. And another thing that's been growing this past year is, the Dream Days, like the alternative field trips that we've been offering to different schools, those retreats that we've been offering. Which has honestly been a blessing because I'm in school full time. Right. It's not like I can, clock 50, 60 hours a week like I used to do. So as I'm thinking for what 2024 looks like, I'm definitely looking forward to starting up a Dream Chaser Academy cohort at Capital Prep High School. We were able to get a budget increase for that. So we're going to add on 2 more students. So we're going to have 6 students. We also got another opportunity to be able to run a Saturday Dream Chaser Academy in partnership with My People Community Services.
Maybe we could get any video to come in and do something with them as well. Like it's
awesome.
Yeah, I would love that.
Maybe we can put that in and give it a little.
There we go.
See that?
Gotta get that in
we just get a little collaboration in anytime we can go. So I think that'd be dope. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I see you got your video camera, but the original video camera guy.
No, I had to get my own camera because he's too big time. When I was running my program, I couldn't even get to say hi to him. He would just be in and out.
Yeah,
just grinding. Big time.
Maybe we can get him in there. You never know. So big teams coming up for next year.
Big teams that go on.
All right, we're gonna move on.
Okay.
Kim Kardashian.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna pass that to you. This is your story.
You know what? I gotta.
GQ just released their Man of the Year issue, and they named Kim Kardashian the Man of 2023, and this is iconic. The entire interview they did was during the Skims men's launch campaign that they were shooting. So it features Kim and then all of her siblings and Kris to talk about how Robert Kardashian has kind of shaped her mindset when it comes to business and how that has made her so successful in her life. But I am obsessed with the photos in this shoot because they're so iconic.
All right. So what we're gonna do is, the whole point of it was that is when it's like, I guess, a prerequisite to a question we have, like what makes a man, what makes you a man,
right?
Besides like paying bills or whatever someone told you, makes you a man. So with that said, I just thought it was weird that she would be Man of the Year. Because I think there's a shortage of men in the world, right? And then to be kind of like okay, and yeah, I didn't see any pushback from anybody, and I kind of stumbled upon the article or the video or whatever, and I'm like, man, and I sent it over to Abdul, like, so what is the definition of people if they're giving it to her because she signed the deal with the NBA, right? She did the Skims or whatever, this is $1 billion deal, or whatever. So they made her Man of the Year, GQ did. So I'll just bring up the question to Abdul was, so what makes, if she's Man of the Year because for whatever reason they thought she was, what makes a man? Like your definition.
I just want to add in there that the magazines and stuff, they always want to be provocative, right? Anything they could do to get readership. You put Kim Kardashian on the cover, but I think the point that you're kind of honing in on is that men need to be able to have manhood. Like we need to be able to be the Man of the Year in some way, shape, or form. And so I think this is a good one. I feel like we could do a round robin. Let's see who could drop the ball first. We're just gonna go around.
We're all just gonna say one thing.
One thing.
One thing at a time.
We want to say one thing at a time. The criteria for being a man. And I should have planned more about this, but I think criteria. Who are you starting?
Yeah.
All right.
Penis.
We're gonna go to his right.
Oh, penis. Get it out the way.
Okay. That's pretty. Okay.
You said to the right.
That's an interesting point in 2024, by the way. All right, go ahead.
Which leads to what I have to say is gender is dying.
But
that's another.
This could get be a provocative show right off of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's pause our game for a second.
All right.
So it's like, I actually now in retrospect, well, why don't you talk a little bit more about that? What do you
I should have started off with that.
Yeah.
I messed it all up.
No.
That's what it is. I should have just said right responsibility, and then one would have went onto that track.
Right.
Push people on the
But I think that part of our conversation is that people are moving in on manhood a little bit. They it's not just for biological men anymore. And I think that that's the part that we're talking about a little bit, is that biological men, other individuals are taking stake in that, and gender is being fluid, and so like as a man, I don't feel any like I don't get myself caught up in all of that, but I feel like I could see where over time you start feeling like, well, dang, what's my role in the world? Like, what's my place in the world anymore? Anybody want to jump on that?
I mean, that's funny. And I think that's one of the reasons why y'all heard like the manosphere and stuff like that, right? Like people like Andrew Tate and whatnot, who like talk about men do this, women do this, da 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 da.
Right.
I think that's becoming popular now because a lot of men are feeling like, well, what is my role in society? Yeah. Especially when we look at 21st century, women are making a lot more money, right? So if you get with a woman, she may earn more money than you. How are you the provider and the protector if you aren't
the
providing
top manhood things, like the things that
you
we
know what I'm saying?
with, right?
Yeah. So all of those things. So like having to question that, and you take into account now we have folks are gender fluid, right? They them pronouns. We talk about like trans folks, right? So like what does it mean to be a quote unquote man?
Right.
Right. So I think all of that stuff is
it's a deep question.
Yeah, for me, it's all in the air. You know what I mean? Because I've met so many people who fall on different areas of the spectrum.
Right.
So I'm like, are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking care of your children? Da 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 da. You know what I mean?
But it's like you don't want to step on their feet, but at the same time, you kind of want to be able to say, I'm a man.
Yeah.
I'm holding this space. And so like even the idea of the manhood tree, the reason why we created it is because like my whole, I do a lot of work with fathers. And so for years and years we talk about fatherhood. But what I was seeing with the fathers is that they were really actually having a difficulty not with fatherhood. They were having difficulty with manhood. They were having an issue with, with some of the things of providing, having issue with some of the things of knowing who they were, feeling comfortable in their skin, taking on the role in their family. It was certain things that they weren't doing, and so that was leaking into their fatherhood. So so when you're not a good man, then you probably aren't going to be a good father. It's not like you're going to all of a sudden just be a great father and you're not doing the things that you're supposed to do in manhood. So and then even when you think about, like, I feel like all of them are so connected: manhood, fatherhood, brotherhood, how we operate within our relationships, what happened to us as boys, young adults, and so like all of these things are like pulling together into this like blob, and we're just trying to like make it, What do you think, Dr. Matt?
Yeah, I think
I'm speaking that into existence.
There we go. There we go.
Multiple things.
He didn't correct you.
I know. First of all, for sure. I am a doctor.
I think this is all interesting. What's striking me is it's not like Kim Kardashian ever said, "Hey, I'm a man."
Right.
It is something that was attributed and put on to her. And that's kind of what has me like confused about it all.
Yeah.
But I also think it is true though. What it means to be a man is so much more different because because of the gender piece of it all. It is a lot more fluid.
Right.
And I think we just see a lot of extremities, right? Because I think Andrew Tate is like another like extreme. Like some of the stuff he be saying is like, dog, like come on. And I think that's another thing, because manhood is so fragile right now in our 2023 context.
Right.
We often see a lot of extreme and strong projections of what manhood should be, when most times they're not. It's just toxic masculinity as well.
So it's interesting where if I said to any one of you right now that you're the man, and there's different contexts that we can take that term. When we were all 24, 23 like you, not like you, but like ourselves, we might have taken that we were promiscuous, we were getting a lot of girls. That's why you're the man. Now, as we sit in this room right now, I might say the same thing. You're the man, and I could be meaning, you're a good father. You taking care of your business. So it's like a lot of the terms, the way the identification of manhood. I think it does get. You can go all. It's like this whole spectrum where you have toxic masculinity on one end, and then you have
healthy masculinity.
No, but I think that healthy masculinity might be in the middle. It's like a whole nother spectrum. It's like you're still going.
Yeah, like low self-esteem, lack of stability, all that is like on the other side of the spectrum.
Right. And so I think that as much as I guess for me, the biggest thing is that for our discussion, I just want to have men who have the capability to be secure with themselves. Like so when you become toxic, you're not secure with yourself.
So another thing that's really interesting to me is we have to understand that we are trying to redefine manhood in an age where like social media is like at an all-time high.
Right.
And when we think about there's an echo. When we think about what manhood has been historically manhood has been the highest and ultimate form of success.
Yes.
Now, when we think about that today in the age of social media, we have to understand we are constantly being fed with the top 1%. So now we're trying to redefine manhood when we are sort of inundated with like super successful people. And I think that also contributes to why what we understand being the man to be so fragile, because it seems so unattainable. Right. But what I like about like what you saying, like going around the table, like I think you are the man and you are the man and I'm the man and you're the man. Right. Is that what this is offering for so many people is just the pull away from what social media is trying to get you to think about what it means to be a man.
What is the number one attribute of manhood that is important to you? The number one attribute of manhood, other than your penis.
No. I can take care of mine, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's more than financially. Like I'm smart enough. Like I know I have information. I can take care of you. Mm-hmm. Financially. I can just take care of you. Yep. Like I'm in a.
So the number one attribute is being able to take care of everyone that you're responsible for.
My loved ones.
Okay. All right. Sagacity.
I wouldn't be able to answer that because any answer I have, I know women who do the same thing.
Okay.
So I just like that's one of the reasons why I'm like
you're letting it go.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long
Matthew.
Now you just throw a wrench in there. You're gonna go with it anyways. I think for me it's like security and to be a place of like refuge. Mm-hmm. And to your point, like you don't always have to have it all together. Right. But being able to talk through what you got going on and being able to allow those that are around you to know like, hey, even if it seems crazy, like I want you to know that we got this and this is what I'm thinking through as to how we're gonna make it work. To me, that's what manhood should present itself.
There's people I'm sure there's people that come to you. Mm-hmm. You make them feel better. Yeah. You didn't give them any money or anything. They just talk to you about the problem. Like, man, you're right. And they leave. So something like on that level, like you could speak to and speak some life into them.
So this is what I don't think that we're taking anything away from women and saying like so maybe we could say this is the number one attribute of womanhood too. But I'm saying for me, the number one attribute that I think about is being solid. Mm-hmm. Like I like the idea that I am a solid, not and when I say this, I don't mean a solid man in the sense of sexual. I'm talking about I'm solid. Like my kids know that I'm good. My wife, she knows I'm good. The people like when you say Abdul-Rahmaan Muhammad, they're gonna say that's a solid dude right there. Solid. And so like I feel like in our community, we need men who are solid, who are like structurally sound, that people can, if we have to lean on you, if we need to get support, just go to these men. Yeah, we're good. That's my number one thing. You want to say something?
Yeah, and I think because we gotta say this immediately after. Yep. You also gotta do the work to be solid. And it's not always gonna look the same way. It's not always gonna be like, oh, your pockets are super.
Let me give you another piece on that.
Go ahead.
Consistent, right? Yeah. So solid is like you can't just be solid for a week. We talking about 20 years, 30 years, solid. Like when's the like getting to the point where it's like when's the last time you could say something about this dude that wasn't solid? Like he just constantly bam, 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 bam. That's the kind of that's what I think about. Like I think like my father. Like when I think about my father, if there was ever a time where I felt like I didn't have an answer, I felt weak. I knew I could just go to this man, and he was gonna have something. Like you just said, he's gonna have something to say to me that's gonna make me go, all right, I'm good now. You know, and so I feel like that's one of the most important roles that and to go to your point, it's not to say that a woman can't be solid. Yeah. But I'm saying that since we're talking about manhood, this is the thing that popped in my mind very strongly, and that's what I would like to see for more of that in our community. Solid. So. This got deeper than I thought it was. I really, I wasn't expecting it. I was like, we good.
Yeah, super deep.
Yeah, but
you can also go into. I know you love. You can also go into how society's trying to make it seem that we're trying to make the men role less important, right? Because women are all tough and iron superwomen, so they make women think that they don't need men when they need each other. But the way society puts it now, they put her on and they have millions of little girls gonna just follow her and be like, I don't need a man. But that's not because they can't. Like you said, we watch things, we understand it, we can decipher it, tell our kids whatever. But most kids don't have two parents. A lot of people have trauma. They have no idea. They can't really think straight, and they're watching this, and they inhale all this stuff and whatever you want to say, and then they get their own ideas about it, which are incorrect in their kids' minds, and they're having their own ideologies and all this stuff. So no one can walking them through it. Like this is, they're saying it because she did the Skims deal and she did this. They don't know why. They just know that she's man of the year.
Right.
Or the fact that it just said in the joint like she became man of the year and then she attributed her business acumen to her father.
Right.
You know what I mean?
She did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like once again,
wait. And her father. Who's her father?
No. Her real father.
Yeah, see, that's another one. Right?
Oh yeah, because what's his face became true. Yeah, I forgot.
Right, that's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother. That's what I thought you was going. Like,
It's dicey. It's dicey. I never knew the Manhood tree was dicey. Listen, so to wrap this little piece up.
Yeah.
So every attribute that we said could justifiably be put to womanhood, right? So we're not, we're not taking anything away from womanhood. But I would like to say, I feel like I kind of hate the fact that I have to say that.
I could dig it.
And
that's why I didn't say anything with the whole thing because it's
right.
And that's one thing I've noticed happen more over the years. It's like if you talk about manhood and masculinity or whatever, but so and so does that, or my homegirl does that.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons why I'm like I'm not even.
You just let it be.
I'll let it be.
Because you were going to say something.
Yeah, I think it's because we've been programmed that way by society. Because when you look at the arc of history, all throughout history, the government has been trying to remove men and women from being in partnership with one another. Whether it be through the prison industrial complex, whether it be families that had to separate in order to be able to make ends meet so that they could be able to apply for welfare and food stamps and all the things.
Right.
Like we could just keep going through all of the many things that's been trying to separate men from women. But the beauty of you saying that this could be attributed to women speaks to the fact that it is not supposed to be either or, but it's supposed to be both and.
Right.
And I think that we have to get to the point where we understand that partnership is important and unity between men and women is imperative.
And all the stuff that we said, though, men need those things too.
Of course.
So right now we're having a conversation exclusively about men, and so that we can clear so everybody else that's outside of this, we don't have to mix it up. We're talking exclusively about men, and so then we're saying these are the criteria that we believe, and this is just 4 men in a room right now. We believe that men should have, and so that's exclusively as we focus the conversation only on men today. If we were talking about a more universal conversation, we might say these are for both. But today we're talking about men, and when we're on the Manhood Tree podcast, we're talking about men. And so therefore, we want to be exclusive, and we want to be pinpointing our conversation straight to the men. So
absolutely.
All right. So let's switch gears.
Switch them.
Damn. Am I sweating?
No, that's deep.
No, I'm not sweating. All right, Sagacity. Let's do a little quick. Like, what's going on with you? I mean, we talked to Matt. Matt told us his whole life story.
Right.
You know,
Matt went in.
What's going on with you? I know you from back in the day when you used to do poetry. You used to be out there poetry up. So what's been going on over the last few years?
Yeah, so last few years, first and foremost, shout out my 5-year-old boy, Willie. So that's been the bulk of my time is, handling my business as a parent, as a father. doing that, and I work for a place called Everyday Democracy. So I'm like working there and trying to build more community partnerships around in Hartford, right? So I've been working there for years, but most of our work has been nationwide. So right now we're trying to like pivot and reshift, like focusing on Hartford, especially because this is where I live. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at right now. I'm trying to also just live my life and figure out what life is like post divorce for me. You know what I mean? Okay. So that's where I'm at, really, just trying to figure out like who is I.
So you opened the door.
Yeah.
So I was hoping you
kicked it open.
But talk a little bit about divorce. So me and Zoe, we're married. Matt's a young man. He might be getting married any year now.
We have a show too about how long you've been with them, but aren't married. Remember that one? Because we were with someone last time, 15 years.
Oh yeah, right. How long? Right, you might be up to already. But I feel like it's an opportunity for somebody to talk a little bit about not necessarily about the logistics of why you got divorced and all that stuff, but more so, what's it like to get to that point in a relationship where you feel like it's like, yo, it's over.
Yeah, I'll say it's sobering, really sobering, right? And the most sobering thing. One of the most sobering things that's ever happened in my life is when my first son was born, right? Because then I remember, I call this, whenever I meet people who are like first-time parents and they're like, yo, what's it like, da-da-da, I call it the hard look in the mirror, right? It's like, once my ex was pregnant, I was like, oh, snap, like, yo, you're going to be a father, dog. Like, what you going to do? You know what I mean? No more excuses, no more, wiggling out of situations. It's like, no, this human being you're responsible for them, right?
Right.
And that was really sobering for me because it made me like, yo, step up. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And that's what it was like for me because we had issues for a bit, but when it like came to a head, it was like, I don't have any more things in my bag, right? Like we've tried this, we've tried that, da-da-da.
Right.
And this isn't happening. So then it was like came a really sobering moment, like, oh shoot, damn, is this it?
Yeah.
That's what it like. Really, really sobering.
So you basically tried everything you could to make it work.
Yeah.
And I'm sure both of you were trying.
And that's one thing I don't do, especially not publicly, is don't talk about my ex-wife. But like, catch me on a drunk night.
We should do it later.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But seriously, like I think the both of us did do the best that we could when we were together.
And not every relationship works out.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that you've talked about, I don't know if you recognize this, but you've mentioned fatherhood at least 5 or 7 times since you've been in here. Talking about your father, and then just even talking about your situation where when you realized you're going to be a father, you got serious. Like you locked in. Yeah. And it was time. So talk a little bit about fatherhood. Talk about your relationship with your dad, and then also about why when you found out you were going to be a father, it made you kind of like step up a little bit.
Definitely. I know. So this is my father. And I was born in the 80s, came of age in the 90s, right? So I remember a lot of my friends didn't have fathers in the home or fathers that they knew at all.
Yeah.
And I just remember there was a point when I was like 12, 13 years old. I was like, yo, like I have a father, right? And he was there. Like he was married to my mother in the house, worked every day, had his own business. And it was like, I know a lot of people who can't say that they have that. Right. If I needed him, he was there. You know what I'm saying? He was one of those dudes who's like, color people time all the time, but he'd still show up. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I knew a lot of people who could not, like, name that. And, like I said, growing up doing martial arts with him and, like, him teaching me the importance of discipline, him throwing books my way, because, like I said, I was an introvert. Right. He noticed that about me when I was a young age. He really, like, was like, you're into this arts thing? Do that. Develop those skills. Yeah. Here's some books to read. Here's, like, and even when I got into music, he bought me my first stereo system and all that stuff. Bought me DJ equipment. Like he really like helped me mold me be who I am. And that's what it was like for me when my ex was pregnant. I was like, oh snap! Like I have to be that for him now. Right. And like me, and my father's like it was funny because earlier I was talking about gender doesn't exist, right? Yeah. But my father's one of those old school man type dudes, right? Like you fall down, suck it up, boy. Like you know what I'm saying? Right. Like real like dude stuff, right? So with me, like, because I was not really big into sports. I played sports because you have to when you're growing up, right? Like, you just need to play ball or whatever, right? Yeah. So I'm in over teams, but like, he was really into that. So he was always a bit closer to my brothers because they were into sports too. Okay. But he was always encouraging of me and whatnot. So I was like, I have to be that for my son now,
Right.
And like figuring out what if he like picked up basketball and was really into it. Now I gotta do that. Like my father used to coach my younger brother's basketball team, right? So stuff like that is like
being the example. Like so he was like an example,
100%.
And you don't. It's in a way. It's like you don't want to let down the example that you had.
Yeah,
you know, like because you won't have no excuse. Some dudes might say, "My dad was never around," but when you got your dad around and he did all this stuff for you,
100.
you know,
Yeah.
And so I think it's a very important thing. I'll be honest, like sometimes when I don't want to do something with my kids, I always think like with my son, I don't want to go to all his games and stuff. But my dad would be at every game, and he had 10 kids, so he was at everybody's game. And so, go ahead.
I was gonna say when you said that, there was a saying. My father was like, you know, his family's from the South, so like he had a whole lot of like little gems and stuff. And one of the things that really stick with me is he would say, "Put your nose to the grindstone." Yeah. Right. No matter what, you got to get work done. You got to go in there. You got to do what you got to do to handle your BI.
That's right.
And that always sticks with me. Put your nose to the grindstone.
I love it. I love it. Hey, anybody else got a fatherhood moment? Matt, when are you planning on having some kids? Let's just jump into it. Let's go, man.
Y'all just you put me on the spot. Oh.
You're right around the age of having kids, aren't you?
You should be. No, Matt didn't have a son until I was 30. So you got, 7
you
years, man. So 30 years old and I had son.
Wow.
Come on, I waited till I was 30.
I had my first. You waited.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I had my first kid when I was 19.
My biggest fear growing up was to have a child with a woman I did not want to be with.
That was that's
my biggest fear.
About it. So you made that decision in your mind.
Yeah, definitely. I used to always be like, yo,
I never even thought about it.
If I slept with her, you might as well be with her.
Right.
So you might as well because you possibly.
Yes.
So that was heavy.
Yo. Yeah, man. So you waited till you were gonna get married, right? That was when
I got married. I got married. You don't know, man, but I got married in February. We got married. We got married. I got married in February. So came in April 2nd.
Wow.
Yeah.
On Valentine's Day, I was like, "Come on downstairs." I don't want to, because I was telling before I did it because like I didn't have my father, he wasn't around, but I knew this would lock me in. Right. Because it's hard to get divorced. It's a process, right?
That joint took like 2 years, though.
Right, it's a process. So I'm like, by the time that happens, because we got mad at each other, but we never wanted to go down there and do all that stuff. Right. So you end up figuring it out.
Yeah.
So I know I would be there. That would lock me in, because if you're boyfriend and girlfriend, you can just lose contact with each other. Mm-hmm. Right? And then the whole thing will happen with the Section 8 and all this other stuff, and I don't want none of those problems. Because all my family members had those problems.
Right.
With all the... so I didn't want any of that. I made sure I didn't have that.
You reverse engineered it. You for everything that you didn't get, you said, I'm going to make sure that my son gets it. So Matt, okay, we don't want you to having kids yet, but have you thought about? You've been with your girl for some time. What are you thinking about? Are you thinking like, Zoe, I'm gonna wait till I'm 30? What are you doing here?
Yeah, no, we have these conversations a lot.
Yeah,
because we kind of have to.
Who brings them up? You or her? I'm just curious.
Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's her. But the reason why is because everyone always brings it up.
They bring it up for you?
Yeah, people talk about it all the time.
You guys are young.
In front of us, in her ear, in my ear. So if we do not have a constant streamline of communication around these matters, one day I'll come home and I'll be like, what's wrong? And then there's just some energy wrong. Yeah. So it's like we've been talking about it a lot lately. The way that I'm kind of at right now is I want to finish this master's and I want to finish my doctorate degree afterwards. Mm-hmm. And then I want to, explore what that looks like. Yeah. If she wants to, wants to do it right after I get the doctorate, cool. Me personally, after I get the doctorate, I want to travel a little bit before we have children. Okay. But if I can't, it's a partnership, so I can't, I can't force. So if she's like, I want to.
I think people see reason why everyone says that because they see themselves in you or her.
Yeah.
Right. So they're like, hey, you 23, and
I was 23,
and we kind of know what the rest of it looks like. Like, yo, just go now, just do it now, and you think, hey, I got this life. Like, no, trust me, you're good right now.
Yeah.
That's what some people see. So they're telling you they're trying to rush you because they kind of live vicariously.
What I like about your story and what I like about what Matt's doing is the fact that it's planned. Mm-hmm. I think that right here, I want you to zoom in on somebody because
those Sagacity is in there.
but because if a young man could hear that you could plan it. Like you don't have to have somebody come home and be like, "Hey, I'm pregnant." Right? You can plan it. You can plan when you're gonna have a kid. You can plan how you're gonna have your relationship. You can plan how your life is gonna be with somebody, and it's probably better that way.
Yes, no, it's way better that way.
It's better that way, right?
It is.
So another thing too that's been helpful during my conversations is I try to talk about the kind of father I want to be.
Yeah.
And you know, it's because you're right. Like I can't just give you a call tomorrow. Like, yo, I just secured the deal. Like I think in about 9 months I'm gonna be a father.
Right.
But like I try to talk to her about the kind of father I want to be, and I talk about how if I have a child now, me becoming that kind of father becomes all the much more difficult.
So what kind of father do you want to be?
I want to be, you know, I think of Demetrius's fatherhood monologue, right?
Yes.
Like I want to be the parent-teacher conference dad.
Yep.
I want to be the go to the doctor's dad. I want to be the go to the games dad. I want to be, you know, I want to be the dad that is like, you know what? I'm leaving the office. My kid needs me, right? And if I had a kid right now, like I can't just, you know, up and move in the same kind of way because I don't have that same sort of security or foundation.
Right.
So I really just want to build things up so that I can be an active and a present father.
I don't
want to be a father that
by 30 you'll be great.
You'll be killing it. I don't want to be a father that like
twins.
That my kids just talk about all of the things that I do out in the world. Right. You know, I want them to also be able to talk about the memories that I afford them.
Right. No, I think you're 100% right. Yeah. It's a good idea.
Great idea, man.
Do that. Don't get pressured by nobody. No. All right, but for all the other fathers out there, never stop dreaming, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Shout out to the fathers. And so, Sagacity, one of the things you were talking about was work-life balance.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to hit that up a little bit?
Yeah, just thinking about how important it is to have that, right? And I'm not going to sit here and act like I do it the best, right? Because I will say this. In fact, as Abdul mentioned, like the way we know each other is through the arts, right? And back in the day when I first moved out here, that's all I did. Everybody knew me from doing spoken word, rap, hip hop, whatever, right? It's like that's what I do. Then, like after becoming a father. Right, when my oldest, shout out to Monty Montana. When my oldest was about like 3, 4, or 5 years old, like became much more difficult for me to do that because I had, you know, my job I had the, you know, health insurance and all that. That was one of the things that light bulb went off when he was coming. I was like, yo, I need a job.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Yeah. So like I had that, then I had the art, and then I had to take care of him. And then like his mother was working too, so it's like. And you know, when you're doing the art thing, you could be out till 2, 3 in the morning, easy. Right. But then I got to wake up for 7 o'clock at work. So it was like something I had to give. So like the sacrifice for me was a lot of the art, and I just like really outside of my children, I throw myself into my work, right? Because those are fixed hours. You get before and after care at school. You're like, okay, cool. So from 8:30 till 5 p.m., I'm locked into these things. Yeah. Then after 5, when I pick up the boys, now I'm locked into them, right? So. That didn't leave me a lot of time for like all the creative endeavors that I used to do.
So sometimes when you're trying to be a good father, you got to put some of your dreams and aspirations on the shelf.
Oh yeah. And I think it's important to you know, do it more strategically, right? And just to think like even if there's certain things that you can do, like right now one of the things that I loved is when my oldest was about like 7, 8. And being able to bring him to certain performances that other folks were doing, right? Because that still sort of feeds that. You know what I mean? I don't have to be the one on stage. It's about like cultivating that within him, and then like just being a release for me, like right, being at a hip hop show, you're yelling and screaming was like say oh, like all that stuff is real too, right? So figuring out what that's like now, it's like a slither of my life, and it's becoming like I'm trying to be intentional in terms of how I incorporate that more into my daily being, right? But yeah, I think that's really important for us, especially as we talk about fatherhood, manhood, whatever. It's really about not just putting your nose to the grindstone and taking care of BI, but also you're not going to be able to take care of your business as well if your mind is always cluttered with the thoughts. You need some sort of release. Back to meditation, right? Like some way for you to get your thoughts clear. So then that way when you go back to, you know, your job or whatever it is that you're doing, it's easier to prioritize. You have more energy for it, things like that. So I really do think it's important. And I did raise it because I'm not the best at it at all. I'm actively working on it. You know what I mean?
It's a work in progress. All right, so let's switch over to Matt's fatherhood manual. We talk about fatherhood. You said you got it on video. Did you figure that out?
No, but I figured that this is the you're gonna probably have to do it because I don't know.
He doesn't have it memorized.
All right, well,
we don't have to do it.
I was going to show the preview of all the guys. It's 2 minutes. The preview of the whole concept of it.
He can come back. This will make him have to come back.
Come back.
Bam.
Make him have to come back. All right, we're gonna do a men's health minute.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love the new animation I have up. Let
me see it.
It's men's health minute. Let's get us to the song. Can you give us
men's health minute.
So we got the men's health.
All right, so this is it. It's the end of the year, and the men's health minute for everybody at this table, everybody listening, is that you need to set up a physical for January. You need to that is a nice graphic, Zo. You need to set up a physical for January. Every year, right around this time, this is the perfect time to set up a physical. Now, Sagacity, I'm assume you're a man probably in your 40s.
There we go.
Okay. You also need to go get your prostate test and your colorectal exam. You need to you're right in that little gap. I'm assuming that Zoe already did it.
Yes, I have.
Okay. So Sagacity and all our listeners today, Matt's still young. He's okay. I just want Matt to get a physical. He's gonna get a physical. But everybody else that's listening, if you're over 40 years old, prostate exam, that's just blood. Mm-hmm. Easy. Just go to your doctor. Hey, I would like to get my prostate checked. Boom, get a little blood work. For the colorectal, if you don't have any history of it, all you're going to do is say, could I get a Cologuard test? This is something you could take home and do it at home by yourself. You don't have to get a colonoscopy yet. Yeah. Right? You just go do the Cologuard. And I'll be honest, I had a colonoscopy earlier this year. It's not so bad.
I did too.
You go to sleep, you wake back up, it's over with. It's cool as a fan. And so all I'm saying is that in 2024, we really want our men to be healthy, and we really want you guys to live a long time. And so just go and get a physical can be a game changer. How about that? Matt, you've been working out a lot too. I can see you. Today I can see it. Like usually I don't see it.
I ain't see it yesterday.
No, today I can see it. I can see you. You look thinner. You look thin. Yeah. You usually look a little chunky. So today you're looking thin.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about you making the commitment, because you're doing the whole thing. You're not just working out. You're eating right. All that. Talk a little bit about that before we get ready to wrap this show up.
Yeah, I've been, as of July, I finally threw in the towel and I hired a trainer that works with me.
Nice.
So my trainer provided me with a 5-day workout plan. He also taught me how to track my macros, so all of the meals that I eat. So yeah, I haven't missed one day, aside from vacation, of course.
Yeah.
Since July. So it's been a little over 5 months. I'm down 34 pounds.
It's great.
In 5 months.
I lost 40 pounds, but I got kidney failure.
Oh my goodness.
You can always lose your kidneys, baby. And you can lose weight fast. No, that's good, man. That's some great stuff. So let me ask you this. What was the seminal moment that made you say I gotta actually commit to this time? Because you've been trying to do it for years.
Yeah. I think, in just thinking about the person that I want to present myself as.
Yeah.
I can't keep dropping motivational content, and I can't keep and not do what I say I want to do.
I like it.
So I think that was the biggest thing. Like, I want to be who I say I am.
Yeah.
And I wanted to show myself that after having so many years of doing so much for other people, I could do something for me.
I like
so every morning I wake up and it's for me. It's not for anybody else.
Man, that's
you gonna give him another round?
I feel the same way every morning for me.
You go to the gym every day too, right?
Every day,
yeah. So stay there.
Not every day. Not every day.
I go Monday through Friday.
Okay. For me, not every day, but at least once a week. I hit my foot on the weights that are at the end of my back. I be trying to get the foot out of here. Oh, damn, I hit my foot again. My wife moved them over for me the other day because she do that too much. So one day I'm going to pick them up myself.
I feel guilty if I don't go to the gym. Yeah. I'm at a point now, I feel my day. Like I'm awake at like 10:30 in the morning. That's my peak time.
Yep.
I get tired about, like I went home because I was at the office for like 4. I had to wake up and come here because I fall asleep about 4 o'clock.
Take a little nap.
Yeah.
Could you get up and go to the gym at 5?
No, I wake up at 5.
Yeah.
That's all because of the project concerns when I was young.
Yep.
I still wake up early, crack of dawn.
Yep.
So I do my routine in the morning. Then I take Zoe to school at 7:30, and I go to the gym.
Yep.
And then I come here. I'm still like this.
Right.
And I come in and I go do whatever I have to do. Maybe I tape or whatever. But the good thing when I tape, no one cares how I look. So.
Right. You're behind the scenes. All right. Every episode, before we wrap up, there's 2 things that we always do. The first one is, what manhood-ish did you do this week? What manhood-ish did you do this week? So you can't say the same thing you said last week. I knew you were about to say it. That's why I said it, because you did it 2 weeks in a row. I'll let you get away with it.
So I got to go first then?
You're first. What did you do this week?
That was some manhood.
Manhood-ish that Zoe did this week before we get out of here. What did you do? You want to pass?
Yeah. I know.
Matt, what about you? Do you do any manhood-ish this week?
I've been going to therapy for a few months now. And I had my session.
Matt's killing it.
Matt is not normal.
He's
Just
only
in case you
16.
guys know. Matt is Super Saiyan Matt. This is Super Saiyan Matt, yo. Don't mess with Matt, yo. You thought he was gonna say something? He's gonna say some fun like that. This is the next level kid, yo.
Therapy. That's
Yo.
what I did.
Yo.
Right before I went to Divinity School, I did
Yo. So okay, but okay, that's deep. That's good. How's it going for you? Do you have the right therapist? Is it the right person? Is it good sessions?
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I think the biggest thing that I've learned, and like this has inspired me. I'm trying to do like some events on this.
Yeah,
is you gotta give it time for therapy to start working for you. So I didn't have a session where I was like, oh my God, until 2 months in.
Right.
Like it was just one session where everything all came together.
Yeah.
So I really had to learn my therapist.
Yep.
I also had to learn her style. The way that she operates is like she takes things a bit slow.
Yeah.
And she stewards silence very well.
Mm-hmm.
So like there'll be mad moments where it's just like silence.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, yo, like what's going on? Like why is she not talking? Like what's like is she wasting my time?
Yeah.
But as I've gotten to learn her, as I've gotten to share my story, now we're at a point where the sessions are just incredible. And I take notes like during and after the sessions, and I just try to apply.
I love it. All right, Sagacity.
All right, 2 things.
2 things. Oh,
there we go.
We got to give it 2.
Bonus.
Okay.
2 for 1.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So the last couple of weeks, like month plus at least, things been like ramped up at my job and whatnot. And this week, I've been really taking care of BI. Like I've been really on it and finishing the things that need to get done in a timely fashion. Yeah. I got one more thing to finish up for the end of the week, and then I'm like, because I'm taking vacation. So that's one. And then the second one, you know what I'm saying? And then the next thing is I do not, back to my poor work-life balance, right, is I do not take vacations. One of the things I miss about being married is my ex-wife used to be like, we're doing a vacation this year. Yes. We're doing it this time, at this point, this is where we're going. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, since I left, I have not taken a real vacation at all.
Go on vacation.
Yeah, but I am taking the next 2 weeks off. So for the rest of the month, after Friday,
you can come with us to DR at some point next year if you like. You just let us know. We're all gonna go to DR at some point next year. You can come with one of us. All right, back to you, Zoe.
Oh yeah. Well, it made me think about my son.
Okay.
Had a great conversation, man.
Okay.
I take him in. I got mad at him.
Yeah.
He didn't know I got mad at him, but I did it differently this time.
Yeah.
Now it's just silence. And now he knows that I'm mad because I'm like disappointed. So he keeps trying to talk to me. I'm like, yeah, all right. Now he just try to keep talking to me.
Right.
Because he's supposed to come to the game.
On Saturday.
Right. But I said it something the night before.
Yeah.
We're all having this in the living room now. Said it the night before. He was cool.
Yeah.
But he never tells me he's not cool. He tells his mom stuff. So I'm chilling.
Yeah.
And he's like, he doesn't want to go. I'm like, you don't want to go? He's like, no. He said, I don't want to go. All right, then you don't got to go.
Right.
She's like, go tell him. I'm not going to make him go. Because what I realized, when he's in a bad, he has a bad attitude about going somewhere that's totally free, it's his friends, he's going to enjoy himself. Then I'll be like, hey, you want something? And he'll be like, that gets me mad.
Yeah.
So now you got me mad. I don't want you to mess up my vibes.
Right.
Like, don't even go.
Yeah.
Stay in the room. So when I was about to leave, he's like, "Hey, Dad, where you going?"
You know
we're not playing this game.
Yeah.
I just leave.
You left him.
That's what
So asking questions,
right? And I know he had the whole conversation with his mom, but come on.
You had the full shiesty on too, by the way. With glasses.
I had it all down.
He came up on the family, and I was like, I don't know who this person is. He had a shiesty. It wasn't even cold outside. It was like, what the heck is going on? So, all right, this is my manhood joint for the week. I shed a few tears for the people of Gaza, for the people of Congo, for all the people around the world that's like just being misused. It overwhelms me sometimes. You know, I was telling my wife how all my life I was like, I always saw America as the good guy, and I realize now they're the bad guy. And my wife was like, "Where you been? Where you been, N-word?" And I was like, I didn't know. But then she was like breaking down, like, you know, she was like, "Remember Katrina? Do you remember that?" And so I just
Kanye.
You remember
Katrina?
Yo, she said Kanye's been telling the truth forever. And so I just shed a couple tears, and I think, you know, as men, sometimes we you know, when you really look at it's so interesting. We've been talking about manhood this whole episode. And one of the things about manhood in our minds is that we're in control of stuff. But it's like all this stuff is happening in the world, and it's happening to men, and they ain't in control. They can't do anything about it, and so it really hurts me to just think that, you know, as a man, you're supposed to be able to fix it. You're supposed to be able to make it work, and all over the world, it's just not working. So that's my manhood issue of the week. All right, let's switch gears. Sorry, I didn't want to make you guys cry.
I've been having like waves of just making it like deep.
It's like a DMX concert.
Like literally, like
that's my style. That's my
facilitation. Take your shirt off in a minute.
I'll have you laughing, and then you be over here like, damn, the world is terrible. All right, last thing before we go, a little brotherly advice. Let's get out of here. We're going to go to Sagacity first. A little brotherly advice for the people out there that you want to just give them before we go.
Oh, shoot. Keep on keeping on, and do like Matt and get into therapy.
I love it. Let's go to Matt.
Yeah.
Again, being put on the spot. My brotherly advice is understand the fullness of rest. I was thinking about this on my way here.
Like it.
Rest is as much about peace as it is about sleep. It's as much physical as it is mental. So make sure that you are tending to your mental peace and your mental health to ensure that when you sleep at night, you are not just sleeping, but you are getting rest.
Yeah. I love it. Matt. All right, Zoe.
My advice.
Come on, Zoe.
My advice.
Hire any video.
Yeah. Want to go into the commercial? I was gonna say, be who you wanted to be, who you looked up to when you were younger.
Be who you looked up. All right, this is my little brotherly advice, and we're getting out of here. Yes, you can. That's my advice. I don't care what it is that you think you can do. Yes, you can. Whatever you want to do, yes, you can. Whatever you've been like holding off, yes, you can. Whatever people have been telling you can't do, no, yes, you can. Yes, you can. All right, we're out of here, people. It's been another episode of the Manhood Tree Podcast. We'll be back next week, Tuesday, 6 o'clock, and it's going to be another live show. Oh, man, we had a good time. Thank you, Matthew Riviera. Thank you, Sagacity. Thank you, Alonzo Beckett. And my name is Abdul-Rahmaan I. Never stop dreaming. And we're out. Peace.